So I'm just going to very quickly show you a video for those of you that haven't been. So that hopefully just gives you a bit of a flavour of Hillhead and what it's all about. So putting on a show like Hillhead is very much a team effort, and you've got just two members of the organising team with you here today, myself and Penny. Penny, I hope won't mind me mentioning, she's the longest serving member of the Hillhead team and has actually worked on every single Hillhead show since it started in some 34-year history. I'm even reliably informed that she planned her children and her family around Hillhead. I'm not sure if that's quite the case, but and then at the other end of the scale, you've got myself, who is the rookie, the new boy in town. I joined QMJ in January. So later on, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the marketing for the event, the health and safety provisions that we make, the role of the contractors and things like that. But I think it's only appropriate to let Penny give you the history of Hillhead from its inception back in the 1980s. So I'll let Penny take the podium for a moment.
I'll press on. Hang on, technical things here.
Button to the right.
Button to the right. Oh, gone straight away. Right. Hello. That picture was taken at the very first show at Jackdaw Crag Quarry, and I was 3. There. Right, just imagine, it's 1981. Jack Berridge is the ad manager for a publishing company in the middle of Nottingham, and I'm his production assistant. We're happily going on, it's not very busy, just happily going on chatting, when he decides to go to an exhibition called OCQEX, OCQEX, the Open Cast Coal and Quarrying Exhibition. The organisers are the Association of Mining, Mechanical and Mining Electrical Engineers. The venue is a barn at the National Agricultural Centre of Stoneleigh. There are 50 exhibitors supplying quarrying plant equipment. Not very many visitors, but it did include a young Jack Berridge. So he comes back to the office and, sorry, I'm not very technical, and says, why don't we have a show in a real quarry so that visitors can see the equipment working in its proper environment? And in 1981, Arthur Down offered his quarry in Tadcaster, Yorkshire, and so the rest is history. This is Jackdaw Crag in 1987. It's a sort of horseshoe shape. We had 80 exhibitors. We had a demonstration area, and if you look closely, you'll see people walking across it. I think you had to get from the car park to registration, walking across the demonstration area. Edge protection by traffic cones, those two with buttons. So, 85 exhibitors, 1,000 visitors. Weather was perfect except for fog on the first day, that's all cleared. Safety, wasn't a buzzword. It wasn't actually the first show that QMJ had ever organised. That was in Llanryddan, or somebody correct me with that, 1926, when Peg and Son, which we all know what that became, crushing stone, and the Stobbart and Pip were turning into tarmac. So then we had to move to Hillhead, because when we just outgrew Tadcaster immediately. We looked for a new site. It was suggested by Landon Faulkner. So Jack went to see it in February 1983, and it looked great. It was snowing. But he didn't know what it was like under the snow. He'd already agreed we'd have it in there. It was a bit rough, to say the least. And that's what Hillhead 1983 looked like. The quarry manager, I don't know if any of you know these people. We've got Peter Mallet, Bob Mabbott, Ray Twigg, Tony Rush. The exhibitors doubled straight away to 170. The visitors trebled to 3,000, and it was another great success. The next 85, that was held in September 83, but winter comes very early to Buxton. In fact, it's winter in Buxton all the time, they didn't tell us that. So we moved it to September 85, and you'll see the very young Jack Berridge, the mayor, and you can just see my leg on the left. So I didn't want to be in the picture, I haven't got a hard hat on.
So you're 6 feet, are you?
Pardon?
You're 6 feet.
So, yes. Bill Renshaw took over as manager in 84 and oversaw a massive site extension. There was a great big tip there, which you'd probably now, as a visitor, recognise as the bit just beyond the top of the pavilion. We had to take down the bridge on Hillhead Lane to get some, because the trucks just couldn't go that way. We levelled the showground and the car parks, widened the bend. When you first come off the highway, we had to widen that to allow the low loaders up. The Hillhead Lane entrance onto the main road was widened so that the trucks could do the sweeps that they needed to do. And this will mean something to you quarrying people. 200 cubic metres of muck was shifted to extend it between in the early 90s. Very early sophistication, as you can see. That's the pavilion. A lot of cow muck on it, I think, by the look of it. The face was stabilised, and the face now doesn't look anything like it used to. And there's a certain gentleman sitting over there who did a lot of work on the face, Mike Phillips, like in 2012, was it, Mark? Yeah, 2010. The kit got bigger. This is the MMD mobile sizer. The hospitality got a bit novel. But you see, the trouble was there were no septic tanks, chemical toilets only. The capacity was based on a 50% increase, but the visitors increased by 100%. Now, you can only imagine what happened. But they were literally overflowing by the end of day one. And I'd have to kill you. I can't tell you what happened to the stuff in them. I'd have to kill you. So we had recirculating units with underslung tanks used from 1987. Now, of course, we have septic tanks under all the units. David Jones came on board. The car parks were extended. The recycling bin areas put in. We had mice in the potable water tank, so we had to get a new one. Gallons and gallons of dust suppression water. And then the pavilion base was as you know it now. It wasn't like that. We built a flat, well, I didn't, with Gabion walls. The rough terrain track was constructed, but that was actually only used one show, I think. Then the HSE set their hard targets, so I think that should say an industry contract with HSE to reduce their accidents. So they introduced that at Hillhead 2000 and, sorry, no, I beg your pardon, the IQ conference, I'm so sorry. So health and safety is our first item every meeting, and sometimes our meetings start at 9 every month. We don't get onto anything else till about 11, do we? Especially now, he'll tell you about CDM rules. We took over doing our own risk assessment, because Jack and I did it, because we're the only ones that knew exactly what happened from beginning to end. So we did it from the when it was the mark out was done and everything. It's had to be done by us.
Now, Stein Expo in Germany copied us, but they didn't copy our safety. So as you can see, he's happily walking too near that machine. Bring your children, sit them under a conveyor. That was Germany in the 1990s. And don't worry about the dust. The visitors grew and grew and grew and grew until it sort of stays the same. The 2005 was the record, but then it dropped back a bit because we all know what happened in 2008. And it's steadily going up again to last year 17,412. So, and we're hoping in 16 that we'll go up a bit again. So I think now it's you, isn't it, Harvey? Yep.
And it is a bit interesting to see how that visitor profile has developed with the growth of the show. In the earlier years, visitors were predominantly, as you can see, from the quarrying and asphalt sector. But as you move through to 2014 and the last show, you can see that now instead of kind of half of all visitors, it's now kind of a fifth. With the introduction of the aggregates tax in 2002, we had a lot more emergent interest from the recycling and demolition sectors, so that's kind of certainly got something to do with it. And also growth from the wider construction and civil engineering sectors has certainly helped us as well. And we now include a lot more kind of construction, civil engineering, plant hire exhibitors and equipment than we did before. So moving on to the overseas, Hillhead's always been an international show, thanks in no small part to the reach of IQ, and that's aided us very much so. In 2014 we had representation from 75 countries, and you can just see the breakdown there. Overseas visitors, we like to see overseas visitors to the show. We like to think of ourselves as an international show. We also think if people are actually taking the effort to travel and commit to coming over from overseas, they're going to be serious buyers. They're making a real commitment to come and see you guys as exhibitors. So the modern era, just kind of picking up from where Penny took us to. Let's search for my notes. So work in the quarry actually closed in 2002, and that presented an opportunity for us, I say us, for the team, at that time to make some significant investment in the infrastructure and the facilities across the site, and turn it into, it's still very much a quarry, but turn it into a bit more of a showground as it looks now. So that included a piped water supply, providing drinking water around the site. We had the septic tanks, as Penny said, put in to better manage the larger visitor numbers. Significant investment in the road infrastructure. We resurfaced the Burma Road on the way in. Fencing was added around the showground, dry stone walling around the feature areas. It started to look a lot more, like a showground. The main face was split into two. There's something coming up. And now we have a blast before each show to give us some workable stone. At the last show, we put a new demonstration area in, just at the top entrance by the registration pavilion. So that was our fourth demonstration area. So, the thing about Hillhead, as you'll know, is it's a live quarry environment. It's a working quarry. So we like to have our demonstrations. So we've got the fourth demonstration area created. And even as we speak, we're actually some work going on at the site this week and next for a small extension as well. So we're constantly looking to, that's the new demo area, which you can see from the air. So how do we market and promote Hillhead? Well, it started already. We have 85,000 multilingual brochures that are distributed in magazines and overseas and internationally, and again that's through some of the IQ links as well. 450,000 visitor registration cards are printed. They're sent to previous visitors to the show, also inserted in about 40 publications, both in the UK and overseas. And increasingly, there's obviously a digital emphasis as well. So we have 50 e-bulletins sent out, constant drip feeding of PR in the build-up to the show and building momentum. And as we've heard through quite a lot of the presentations today, with a group of society that's kind of forever wedded to their tablets and their iPhones, then we've got a Hillhead app, and we've just launched the Hillhead website as well, so we've got a fully responsive website which launched last week. Let's just look at some of the magazines that we promote in. So it's quite an extensive job to market the event. Okay. So moving on to health, safety and environment. Obviously, as Penny said, a very big thing for us, very key. We take it exceptionally seriously. That's something that Jack instilled from the very first, well, maybe not the very first show, but certainly moving forward. And it is at the core of everything that we do at Hillhead, is to ensure that the health and safety is taken care of, and is the first item on the agenda every month when we sit down for our planning meetings. So just to give you an idea of the scale and the things that we have to cope with, we've got 450 exhibitors, give or take, about 17,500 visitors, 25,000 individual visits to site in any one month, or in the month of the show. Nearly 2,000 HGV deliveries and collection passes issued, 10 cranes a day, 100 plus HIAB trucks, 80 marquees to be built and dismantled, 350 electrical installations. So it's no mean feat, and we need to keep on top of all that. And to add to, I would say our troubles, but I don't know if it's particularly our troubles, but presenting a new challenge, shall we say, for 2016 is the fact that exhibitions, not just exhibitions actually, but all events and entertainment, and including sporting events and festivals, now fall under CDM regulations. So from 2016, Hillhead will have to fall under the scope of the 2015 CDM regulations. So that means we have to put together a construction phase plan for the whole show. There'll be mini CDM sites as well for any individual stand that's got construction, significant construction work going on. We have to demonstrate how we manage safety and include details of site rules, arrangements for daily inductions, daily briefings, welfare facilities, fire and emergency procedures, arrangements for the control of specific risks, so falls from height, collapse of structures, crane operations, and heavy lifting. So things that you guys will be kind of quite familiar with, and to be fair, we are very well prepared for this. You know, this is stuff that we've had in place. We're just being maybe asked to present it and provide information in a slightly different way than we have done in the past. Under CDM, as we're working with the regulations that have actually been imposed upon us, they don't exactly fit the exhibitions industry. We have to actually fulfil the duties of both, well, the client, the principal contractor and the principal designer. So it's quite unique for us, so quite a lot to get our heads around. We have been through a rigorous consultation process to ensure that we understand and that we are prepared. So we've consulted with the AEO, that's the Association of Exhibition Organisers, who've got a working group specifically focused on CDM, with the HSE and our own safety team, and we've also taken legal guidance as well. So just staying on health and safety just for a moment, those of you that have been as exhibitors or perhaps contractors will be familiar with our Golden Rules booklet, our Golden Rules document. It's something that's issued to everyone who comes onto site during the build or the breakdown. And while we don't want in any way to kind of dumb down health and safety, that's not what we're trying to do. We hope we've kind of come up with a novel approach to raising health and safety awareness. And it hopefully gets the message across and asks people to kind of buy in. So we've come up with these. We've got a very good caricaturist and cartoonist who works with us on our Golden Rules. So I'll just flick through a few of these. And these are issued to everyone who comes on in a kind of small booklet. I thought I brought one along with me, but I don't think I have. And again, we're not trying to kind of dumb down. It's just a novel way of getting the message across. We've got so many people coming onto site, so many people, coming on. Some of them are agency drivers. They might be from overseas. We've got a lot of international exhibitors. So it's just a way of us getting people to understand what we're trying to do. So just to finish off and give you a bit of another idea of scale and the kind of things that we're working with, I thought I'd talk a little bit about the contractors and some of the contractors that we use at Hillhead. As you've probably gathered from the short information that we've given you, Hillhead is a very, very large show, and QMJ are a relatively small team. So we have to contract in a lot of expertise and a lot of help along the way. We obviously contract in expertise in the form of quarry and safety teams, but we also need quite a lot of services to make the show happen as well. Many of our contractors have been with us for a long time. We're very proud of that fact. We've got a fantastic relationship with a lot of our contractors. We find that when they come into the show and they work with us, we look after them, they get to know us, and they come back year on year. And some of these contractors have been working on the show for a very, very long time. And I think that's kind of testament to the show itself, how people feel about it. It is very unique. When people work the show, they enjoy doing it, and they want to come back. So we have about just shy of 40 separate contracts. Some of them are very obvious, the things that you would think we have to consider. Some maybe not so much. Security. The security contracts, I've got a few little bits of trivia here just to give you an idea of scale. Over 2,000 man-hours over an 8-week period, we need security. Traffic marshals, again, over 3,500 man-hours of traffic marshals, again in 2 weeks. Cranes, we use Sugden for our lift in there, and they do, on average, about 60 contract lifts per show. Catering, the Hillhead visitors do love their food, their burgers. We have the Hillhead Cafe, 7 other mobile units, everything from ice creams to fish and chips to hog roasts, which we all have to source and make sure happens. Stand building, one of our biggest contracts. Marquees and temporary structures, obviously in the quarry floor, when we go in, there's nothing there at all. So any infrastructure that you see, any of the structures all have to be built up. About 80 marquees get built in all, some of them ours, some exhibitor ones. The biggest is the main pavilion, which I'm sure you've all been in and through. The main pavilion is 24 metres by 130 metres, so it's over 3,000 square metres in size and takes 4 days to erect, so no mean feat. And as we've heard already, toilets, cleaning and waste management, very important contract. It's the first thing I was asked in one of my first Hillhead meetings. Have we booked the toilets? Yes. And then some of the less obvious things that we have to think about that you might not consider. Water testing. We do water samples before every show, which go off for lab testing for Legionella and other nasties. Surveying for the stand mark out. We use GPS surveying to give us the point locations across the quarry so that we get everyone's stand in the right place and the right size. You'd be pleased to know we do also use a good old-fashioned tape measure sometimes as well. Flagpole hole and drilling. We drill over 200 holes for flagpoles. If you see the picture of Hillhead, it's a sea of flags. All those holes need drilling. Air conditioning. Well, believe it or not, even in Buxton sometimes it does get a bit warm, so we have air conditioning across most of our pavilions and marquees. We have to liaise with the police, not only from a traffic point of view, but they also, during the show days, you've got to bear in mind we've got nearly 18,000 people on site, so we do have some support from the local police during show days as well. And floral displays. Quarry's never looked quite so good as it does during Hillhead Week. And then aerial photography. I'm sure some of you have seen on the marketing that we use on the website. We get some really stunning aerial images of the quarry. So the quarry team, as I said, we do contract in a lot of expertise in terms of the quarry team. And we've had a lot of support, as you'd imagine, from the Derbyshire branch of IQ on this over the years. And moving forward to 2016, probably some familiar names up there, again centred around the IQ Derbyshire branch. Our quarry manager, John, assistant quarry manager, Kim, and then Guy, Neil and Andy, all IQ members who help us on the quarry side. So that's hopefully given you a bit of an insight into kind of what goes on behind the scenes at the world's largest quarry exhibition. Dates are there for next year. As I say, work is well underway, and very much look forward to seeing you there.